Alright, so today I'm going to meet up with a friend, Christina, who is going to show us a little bit about foraging. I became interested in foraging, I would say probably about 2 years ago or so, 3 years ago, when I became more into sustainable living. And part of that is understanding what is around us that we can use, whether it's for shelter, whether it's food, whether it's for clothing, and all these. And I know some who might be watching might be more of like survivalists, but all this fits together. So whether you're a survivalist or whether you just want to be more conscious of what's around you, and for free, honestly, definitely look into foraging. I had gone on one tour with a gentleman. I think his name is Wild Bill, so you guys can look into him too. But my friend Christina, she's amazing. She is also a doula, and I know that she does speak about certain herbs as it pertains to pre and postpartum women. So yeah, so definitely come along. This should be exciting, and I'll see you guys soon. How important do you feel that connection is? Because it's not just for what you know, but it's for how you bond, right?
Yes. I think that's part of it. A huge part of it is smelling, well, maybe tasting later. Smelling, using your vision, using your sense of touch, and what does it feel like? What's the texture? Is it smooth? Is it slippery? Is it prickly? And then your sense of smell, breaking it open, does it have a sweet earthy taste or sweet earthy smell, or does it have a very pungent and maybe kind of putrefied smell?
Yeah.
All of these things go into our plant identification skills, and incredibly important. So this is cleaver.
Cleaver.
And you'll notice that it has its name for a specific reason, because it will just stick to you, right? So they call it by a whole bunch of different names, like catchweed, right?
Catchweed.
It's catching.
This is a good way to remember it.
Yes, it is, and it's very sticky. The fibers go in one specific direction, so if you drag your finger across it, it's gonna catch. But this has a lot of diuretic properties. You can tell it's cleaver by the stem, the length of the stem, the number of leaves it has, also the petals of the flower. There's tiny little flowers on there.
Oh, so little white flowers.
Little white flowers.
Okay.
And they have 4 petals. And the leaves can be used, actually the whole aerial part of the plant, so not the roots per se, but anything that grows above ground. You can make a tea with this by taking boiling water over 2 to 3 teaspoons of the cleaver, and you can be used dried or fresh, just like most herbs. And it's good for urinary infection, water retention, skin irritation, wounds. It's also known as a very good lymph healer, which has to do with the female hormone system as well, because the hormones travel through the lymphatic system.
Wow.
And anything that cleans out the lymphatic system is going to innately clean out anything that's blocked in there. So much. So this plant isn't on the list, but this is creeping out of here is burdock.
So this is burdock plant.
Or yes, I believe it is. There's one down there that's definitely burdock. But you can tell with the big flat leaves. It's a biennial, so it won't come up every year the same. Some years it breeds the stalks that produce the seeds, and then it'll have a year off, and then it'll come back again. El Nino and La Nina years, what type of plants are thriving during which of those year types. This year will be La Nina, and everything is really green and lush. It's very rainy so far. So here, so that's another thing with foraging, is that in the springtime, all of the energy is going up to the leaves. So that's a good time of year to forage leaves. And then in the fall or the winter, when the energy gets sent down into the roots, that's a better time to harvest the roots.
Oh,
so
that's
there's
a really
times
good
of
point.
years to forage for specific and harvest specific types of foods. Just for palatability. But besides that, there's two different types of plantain leaf. I'm only seeing this one right here, which is the Plantago major, but then there is a thin leaf plantain too. So it has the same type of look with these long striations in the leaves, but then the leaves are just longer and tapered. And it might not just be the season for this unless it got weed whacked, but they'll have stalks coming up, like the photo shows, and I've heard a couple different things. This is saying that it can be used and ground into flour, but I've also heard that the seeds on here are similar to psyllium husk. Also good for like bowel cleansing properties, bulking up with fiber, that type of thing. And here again we have dandelion living right in tandem with the plantain leaf. And that's important to know too, is to like the partner plants and the co-plants that live amongst one another. There's something called biodynamics, and it has a lot to do with how plants foster one another. One can be a nitrogen fixer and one can be one that needs a lot of nitrogen, right? So one will be planting nitrogen into the ground for the other one to thrive on, basically.
Wow.
It's like living with plants in your house or having tons of oxygen around, right? We need that, and it's something that is intrinsic, and nature does it all by itself. You know that crabgrass that everyone's always talking about and trying to eradicate from their
Yes.
yard? Well, I was taking an herbal course in Hawaii, and that crabgrass is so nutritive that
Really?
you can take a handful of that and put it in your Vitamix or whatever blender with some water, and it makes a delicious, well, not delicious, it's a little bitter, but it makes a very nutritionally dense green drink.